Folks, good afternoon. We're back and we're ready to talk about protein. Don't worry, you haven't gotten the wrong channel. We're talking about chocolate that's filled with protein. Today we are talking about two brand new bars from Ritter Sport that, frankly, I didn't expect to see released in October, November kind of time. I expected to see a product like this more towards January. I can't say I hate it. We're talking more specifically about the Ritter Sport Crunchy Peanut with extra protein and the Ritter Sport Crunchy Hazelnut, also unsurprisingly with extra protein. Very bold packaging, giant P on the front. Didn't really feel that part was necessary, but you know. And what makes these protein-y is not only the nuts contained inside, but there are also protein crisps contained in there too, which apparently is protein from almonds and protein from milk protein in these little crisps. And we're going to be trying both today to see if they're worth picking up. I think I am going to start with the peanut version, just because it's the one that kind of intrigues me the most. I feel like you don't see peanuts in chocolate here in Europe that often. You'll see the Snickers, you'll see the Reese's, but they're typically American products. You know, they're not typically for our European market. So from the peanut edition in this big pea-based yellow packaging, we can expect covered chocolate with almond protein, milk protein, and salted peanuts in pieces. It's a 40% cocoa chocolate. Main ingredients are sugar, cocoa butter, and then 14% nuts, followed by all of the protein bits and the cocoa mass, which makes me think this is going to be not a very chocolatey chocolate bar, but we kind of already guessed that. But it doesn't smell anything like the usual Ritter milk chocolate. It smells like a Reese's peanut bar cup, which is absolutely no problem with me. So we can see it has the usual kind of Ritter square branding on the front, and at the back we have all of these hundreds of crispy bits and pieces in there. Breaking in half, it almost looks like a kind of chocolate Rice Krispies bar that you might get from a supermarket, or that you might make at home even. You can see you've got all those crunchy bits contained in there. But let's see how it is. In a word, it's crunchy, undoubtedly. It's peanutty, undoubtedly. The chocolate, as the ingredients list kind of suggested, is basically non-existent. The chocolate is just almost a substance that holds the crunchy protein pieces and the peanuts together in one thing. Kind of feels like I'm eating a granola bar. Kind of feels like I'm eating cereal in the sense that it's a sweet, peanutty crispiness. You can taste that there's some sugar, you can taste that there's some vanilla and things in there, and maybe a hint of cocoa. That's about it. The chocolate itself doesn't have much texture, it doesn't have much chocolate flavour whatsoever. Even if it's 40%, you wouldn't know. The crispy bits have a really nice texture, I have to say. You get both texture and flavour from the peanuts. Personally, I might have liked it a bit more salty. It's much more kind of a sweet peanut flavour. Not quite as bold as you would get, for example, from a Reese's peanut product. We're leaning more towards the nuttiness of like a Snickers, in the sense that it's there, but it's not like peanut butter. This bar in particular, for anyone interested in the kind of macro breakdown of these things, for every 100 grams, this bar being 3/4 of that, you're talking about 18 grams of protein, which is probably around the same as you would get, or, you know, even slightly less than you would get from eating just nut butter, like peanut butter, or from eating the actual peanuts. You know, I feel like I'm not getting much from this being a chocolate bar, if that makes sense. You know, it's not giving me kind of the indulgence or the sweetness or the richness or the chocolatiness of a chocolate bar. It is giving me the protein, it is giving me the crunchiness, the crispiness, but if in this whole bar, you know, you're looking at like 14, 15 grams of protein, you get the same thing literally from a couple of tablespoons of nuts, with a bit more full-on flavour. You know, so it's fine. Would I buy it again personally? No. It might be something you could fit into a protein requirement diet that you're undertaking at the moment, or if you feel like you don't eat enough protein but you do eat enough chocolate. It might not be a bad thing to incorporate into your, you know, your treat cycle, but it's not particularly wow. I'd say this is a solid middle of the road 3 out of 5. Moving on to the hazelnut version. This one intrigues me a bit more because a kind of peanut-based protein product is absolutely nothing new. It's you know, peanuts, peanut butter, in any sort is always going to be included in a protein and achievable natural protein heavy diet, and lots of your kind of artificial protein snacks are also peanut flavored because it's just easy to incorporate. Hazelnut, on the other hand, is one that's usually associated a bit more with being a treat. Think Nutella, Kinder Bueno, blah blah blah. From this one we can expect the same covered chocolate, around 40% cocoa allegedly, almond protein, milk protein, and this one with hazelnuts in pieces. Again, main ingredient sugar, not ideal, but we then have cocoa butter, the cocoa paste, meaning we're going to have more of a cocoa flavour in theory from this one, followed by the protein crisps, but only 6% hazelnuts in here, not the 14% that was in the other one. This one also contains a little bit of hazelnut paste though, and the same vanilla, so we might have the same level of flavour but a smaller quantity of nuts. And while we're at it, this one again for 100 grams contains about 18 grams of protein, so exactly the same as the kind of previous one. Definite hazelnut smell as you get in there, kind of that Nutella-y, gianduia kind of smell. Same appearance, as you can see here, we have the kind of knobbly bobbly bits on the back, and we have the regular Ritter branding on the front. Same kind of crispy cross section there, as you can see. Let's see how it tastes. Okay, immediately I would say this one is similar, but it feels like more of a treat, which to me is a compliment considering what we're talking about. You still have the crunchiness, you still have the nuttiness. The chocolate's texture consistency still isn't the best. A little bit chalky, think of like a Cadbury Dairy Milk bar. Very sweet, but you can actually taste it. It is holding its own up against the nuts and the crispy bits. Hazelnut definitely present. The vanilla is kind of present in there as well. This, honestly, if you gave it to me, didn't tell me what it was, you didn't let me look at it, etc., if you just put it in my gob and said, what is this? I would maybe actually guess some kind of Kinder product, some kind of Italian Kinder marketed breakfast product, because you do have that cheap yet treat-like consistency and taste from the chocolate, the sugar, and the hazelnut together. This feels more like I'm eating a chocolate bar, whereas this one feels like I was eating some kind of protein bar, cereal bar, or, you know, something that isn't as much of a treat. The milk chocolate doesn't taste like Ritter Sport chocolate that much, but it does feel like more of a Ritter product with the hazelnut in there. They have put more attention to detail, I think, in the flavour of this one. Is it wow? No. Is it bad? Also no. Feels kind of more like what they were trying to do, whereas the other one is particularly forgettable. So I would say this one, if you enjoy hazelnut, if you enjoy chocolate, but you also want to add some protein, it definitely feels less like a health food, like something from Holland and Barrett, like the other one does. So based on all of that and the fact that I will happily finish this, they'll probably not rush to rebuy, I would give this one a 4 out of 5. Do let me know if you have tasted either of these bars. Is it something you got or would get out of curiosity? Are you a gym goer who's trying to up their protein content for muscle building purposes? Are you someone who just doesn't really eat as much protein as they should and therefore is trying to sneak it in ways that feel easier than buying eggs and chicken breasts constantly on rotation? Let me know what you think. Did you enjoy them? Is this something you think you would like? But folks, that is all I have time for today. Thank you so much as always for watching, and I will see you for the next one.